Thank you guys for listening to Armstrong Avenue. I'm Big Mike. I'm here with Scott Armstrong. This is another great episode. What's up, dude?
What up, Big Mike? What's happening, man? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm good, man. I'm staying busy, staying wild. Living up to my nature.
Yeah, hey, look, so right off the bat, I know people think, oh, they probably talk for a little while and remember the first couple episodes we did that. We would talk for 30
Yeah,
minutes before we ever
yeah.
did an episode.
Now
And
it's just real
now
and raw.
it feels more real and more raw and more off the cuff that we just hook up and go, hey man, roll and let's do this. And so I know as a listener, I've listened to this a few times just to just to see what we sound like, and it always feels better when we do it this way.
Yeah,
So I appreciate it very much, man. Thank you.
yeah. I agree. It feels better. It seems better. It goes smoother. It's not really pre-planned.
Yes, yeah.
Trying to
Because
read off a
we are
script.
in a business that definitely we don't want it to feel pre-planned.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's funny.
Man. So hey, how have you been, dude? I know you had a great
Had a good week.
vacation. Like
Yeah,
you
had a
spent
good
the
week.
last week.
Had a good week, y'all. Anybody that truly knows me knows I've been married for 35 years, and which right there is a Hall of Fame moment within itself. And she works retail, my wife, and she gets off a week in October and then November, December. Anybody listening that works retail or knows somebody that works retail knows that November and December, that person, God bless their heart, and that's my wife. And so
Yeah.
um, I asked her what she wanted to do, and due to the fact that the Superstar Fan Fest in Rome, Georgia, happened to be at the end of her vacation week, she said, "Oh, I want to go that week. I want to go to Gatlinburg, and I want to come back through Rome, and you can do that, and then we'll come home. Not only just come home." But the Pensacola Fair has been in town for the past few days, past week, I should say, and she wanted to go with our grandson. And so, you know me, dude. I love my recliner and I love the remote control. and but she wouldn't have it. So we went to Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. We did all that. It was a blast. Did Dollywood, the whole nine, and it was awesome. And then came back through Rome, Georgia, did the Superstar Fan Fest, which was awesome within itself because a lot of fans, a lot of friends, and a lot of old wrestlers that I have shared a career with. And then we drove home to Pensacola on Sunday to go to the Pensacola Interstate Fair with our grandson. So it was a good week, a real good week for us personally. And so, hey, look, man, it's part of staying married is doing what she or your spouse wants to do.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
for me, I lived on the road and I lived in hotels. So to me, a good vacation is sitting in a recliner and flipping channels. That's a great vacation. But to her, who works retail and deals with people all day, every day, she wants to go do stuff. So
Yeah.
look, I'm always game. I'll go somewhere and have a good time and laugh and eat. We did. And so it was a good week, man. It was a very good week. How about you, Big Mike? I know you've been busy, man. Every time we text,
Oh
you
man,
were somewhere different and dealing with something else and the whole
man,
kid and caboodle.
man. You know how it is leading up to a show. I mean,
Yes.
for WWE, it's probably way different for me, but for an independent promotion, especially when you're running big shows like we have been, leading up to it, the couple of weeks before, you're trying to grind out, make sure everything is ready. So Saturday when we get
Right.
there, all we got to do is get production set up
Get
and
where? For those people that don't know, to get where on Saturday?
the Upson County Civic Center. in
In
Thomaston, Georgia.
Thomaston, Georgia. That's right.
Saturday at 6 o'clock, the doors open. Bell time is 7 p.m. It's going to be a great show, and I have been promoting it consistently. The while you were in, Gatlinburg that Friday, you were probably coming down to Rome that day, most likely.
Yep.
We went to the Town Fall Festival here in Thomaston, Georgia. Set up, we had a booth. We were in the kids zone, is what they called it. As if you are a business and you decided, hey, we'll do an activity for kids, they'll let you set up for free and promote your business as long as you had something for the kids to do. So that's what we did. We handed out free kids tickets to get into the show because we're all about the kids, and the kids are always free at Main Event Wrestling. So we handed out, promoted the show, passed out flyers, the whole nine,
Awesome.
and then we got a lot of great feedback, man. We decided to put where the Civic Center is. I'm going to give the listener kind of how the Civic Center set up. Right in front of the Upstate County Civic Center is the middle school,
Right.
and the buses drive right by the Civic Center. We have a banner up, Live Pro Wrestling. Teddy Long's on it, Boogeyman's on it, a couple other folks are on it. The kids pass it every day. It is the buzz of the school system. Every kid has been talking about the show. I think we're
Awesome.
going to have more kids than adults.
Hey, look, as long as they have a good time, that's what matters.
And that's what we're hoping, to give them a great time. And but that's, man, I've been doing that. I've been on the road promoting it, just constantly going places. Shoot, man, I was on the radio. I've been multiple times on the radio stations. The one here in Thomaston, Fun 101. It's our local station. I go on there in the mornings, promote it, give away some tickets. I'll be back on it Friday morning at 8 o'clock with local wrestler Dominique Stuckey. He's coming on with me, and we're going to give away some tickets, talk about the show, as well as 92.5 The Bear in Griff out of Fayetteville, Georgia, and I'll be on there tomorrow night.
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Yeah, man. Hey, look, morning drive time in that Atlanta area is money.
yeah.
And so letting them know that they're going to have a fun show in Thomaston on Saturday night is awesome. And so, look, I know we didn't talk about this prior to, but I know last time my brother, Brian Road Dogg, was on the show with me, and we found out last minute that it was going to be on Facebook Live. So is that going to happen this time?
The show was on YouTube Live last time. Yeah, we live streamed on YouTube.
YouTube. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I said
we
Facebook.
will not be live streaming it this time.
Okay.
So last time we had some issues. We were told the Wi-Fi was at this standard that they told us it was, and our production crew was like, "Great, that'll be perfect. We can stream with that." When they hooked up, they realized that the Wi-Fi was not great, and ultimately the company made the decision to continue with the live stream, and it didn't go
Gotcha.
very well. It was very glitchy, and it just didn't work. So this time we're not going to live stream it. We're going to have it out within the next couple of days after the show, and that's going to be available on the IWN app.
On the app. Okay.
Yep.
So again, if you are a viewer or listener, the IWN app is the way to go. And look, I don't think people understand they're going to be able to see all kinds of independent promotions. I know at the Fan Fest, I know I saw you guys talking to the people that were running the show that night at the Fan Fest. And so were you guys able to work something out where this?
We have not talked to, we had not really closed anything with them. We're still in talks. It's kind of a process to get some of these independent promotions on.
Sure.
But we do have some promotions with IWN, and we hope to get more. If you're an independent promoter and you want to put your stuff on the IWN app, holla at me, and I can give you the number to the guy, who does that.
It's a lot of fun. And just to be able to sit in your home on your iPad, your whatever, your computer, your iPhone, and be able to see promotions from all over the United States, all over the world, as far as that goes, and see them. Look, we know we can all turn on Fox on Friday night and see WWE. We can turn on TNT and all that and see AEW. We can see all the different promotions on the major networks. But to see the smaller promotions and see the people who are out there who are really tearing the house down, man, that's a lot of fun.
And
Just
if you,
just to see
yeah,
people that you don't know their name and you go, oh my God, look at that guy and
yeah,
or that girl, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
and they're out there doing it for a hot dog and a handshake half the time.
Well, you're right. I mean, they're not getting the big money, that is for sure.
And
And it at the end of the day, I would tell like all the time. I would say, hey, look, right off the bat, like on an indie show, they'd say, "Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong, I'm sorry to ask you." I said, don't say that. Don't be sorry. We love the same thing.
yeah,
We're on the same level. We both love wrestling. So what's the question? You know what I mean? It's don't don't be sorry for asking a question. The indies are the salt of the earth, and there are people on the indies that I have worked, like this past week, worked with, that you go, wow, man, that dude deserves a tryout, or that girl deserves a tryout. And when you see that, you just go, man, there's a bright future. There's a bright
yeah,
future in the industry, and
yeah,
I love it, man. I do. I love it.
yeah. I do too. You know what I also love?
What's
Bones
that?
Coffee.
Bones Coffee. Great
What?
segue.
I do, man. I do. And I tell you what, so do our listeners. Some of our listeners, they tweet it to me, and I've actually gotten pictures where people have bought the Bones coffee, and they're like, dudes, it's so good. And to see
It
them buy
is.
the electric unicorn, which I've been, pushing hard on people,
Yes.
it's look, that's the one.
It is the one. And that's I mean, even like I know we've talked about it before. I've had other people in the industry text me and say, "Hey man, I got some of that Bones coffee. It was really good." And I
Yeah,
said, "Well, I hope you use code Armstrong so you get
yeah.
the 15% off."
That's
So
right.
I'm glad.
15% off using code
Yep.
Armstrong. It's right up there. You can't misspell it. If you
Yeah, that's
do,
really it's really cool, man. I'm glad other people love it. I know, man, in this house, I know we've talked about it. You wake up in the morning and you smell it in the house and you go, man, what a great way. I don't know about you, Mike. I know you're in Georgia and I'm in Pensacola. Uh, in the morning time now, it's got a little nip in the air. It's a little chilly.
yeah,
And like today it's oh gosh, I think it's going to be 76. Nothing but sunshine, beautiful day. Um, and the way my house sits, it kind of blocks off the wind, so it's a warm day. I mean, a
yeah.
good day to mow the yard, wash the car, and yes, in Pensacola, we're still mowing the yard at the end of October, and so
Oh
it's
boy.
awesome.
Yeah,
But I know in the morning time we're in the low 50s, and
yeah,
so I get up in the morning and smell. My wife loves that s'mores. Oh my, the s'mores, brand the flavor from Bones Coffee, and you
yeah,
just smell it all over the house. It's awesome, man.
yeah.
Woo.
It's good, man. It's really good. So are the t-shirts from Collar and Elbow.
Yes,
I it was funny, man. It was really funny. So a couple of friends of mine who work with Collar and Elbow have heard us talking about our getting a t-shirt, and they just said it's funny. They said you never know. I,
yes,
I said, well,
amen.
listen, put us
Yeah,
on. I'm telling you, we're going to
there
sell
you
out.
there you
There's not
go.
going to be a t-shirt left.
Well, one thing's for sure, when they do put one out, I will wear it on the show. We will talk about it. We will
Yep.
plug it. And so I await the arrival of the Armstrong podcast t shirt.
I do too. And if you guys want to try out some Collar and Elbow brand shirts or other apparel they have, use the code Armstrong for 10% off of that. Let them
That's
know we
exactly,
told you to get it. And
yes.
also plug it. Tell them you want that t-shirt. I'm gonna
Yes.
get it. I'm gonna get that thing
Twitter,
going.
tweet them.
Let them know, man. We want that
That's
shirt
fun.
just as bad as you guys do.
Yes.
But
Amen. Amen.
hey, talking about Superstars Fan Fest, man, you went up there. I was there. They had a great crowd.
Yes, they did. They had a very good crowd. I was at the GT Collectibles booth. They
They had a
were
lot of people.
like my sponsor, and man, you know what was really cool is like to the left of me it was Virgil. He had a booth, and man, it was. It's funny because since I was released from WWE, I've been to 4 different fan fests like this, and this was my 4th one. And so Virgil has been on every one. And so then to the right of me, next to me, I had Kerry Morton, which is Ricky Morton's son. And then next to our table was Ricky and Robert, Rock and Roll Express, legends,
Yeah.
WWE Hall of Famers. And next to them was Baby Doll, and Baby Doll from Georgia Championship Wrestling days, and next to her was Terry Runnels, which was Dustin Rhodes' wife at one time, and she had a good run with WWF, and so I was surrounded by. On the other side of Virgil, to my left, was Enzo, and Enzo and Big Cass made a little dent too. So I was surrounded by cool people from back in the day, and Baby Doll actually said, because Baby Doll has also been on all 4 of the ones that I've been on since WrestleMania, WrestleCon. And so she said, "Are you following me or am I following you?" And I just started laughing. I said, "Well, I hope I'm following you if you have something booked in November, because I do not." And so it was really cool to see her. My dad and my brother Brad, my late brother Brad, and my father both knew Baby Doll very well. And so, and I know Baby Doll, but not, I didn't know her like they did, because they were in the territory back then when she was there. And so it's really cool to get to see her and talk to her, and be a part of her life as we both grow just a hair older, I guess.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
right.
and see Terry Runnels, and then on the other side Virgil, and hey, Virgil's the same, man. He's fun,
Yeah.
and wants to laugh, and talking to Enzo, and Enzo came up and said, "Man, I don't know why we never took a picture together, but we never did on my run." And I started laughing. I said, "Dude, I know what you're talking about," because it's funny, when you're in the business, you don't ask people to take pictures. You just don't.
Hmm.
And then when you realize, wow, I'm not in that clique anymore, and then you see all those same people, you go, "Hey, can I just get a picture?" And I did the same thing when the first time I was released from WWE. I came home and thought, "Man, I wish I had taken pictures with all those guys." And when I went back, I would say, "Hey, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture." And I've got really cool pictures with Taker and Sean and Hunter, and just people that you've shared a career with, that you
Yeah.
go, "Dang, why didn't I take a picture with them?" So if you're listening and you get that opportunity, take the picture. It lasts a lifetime. The memory lasts forever too, but only in your head. The picture, it lasts a lifetime, and you can show everybody.
That's right. People will be like, "Oh yeah, you're just telling me that. You didn't really do that." No,
Right.
here, look.
Yes, exactly right. 100%.
Look,
Exactly right.
look. I'm not one of them people who take pictures. I've gotten a couple pictures with the wrestlers, but I don't want to be the one who aggravates them, especially now that I work within the business too. But
Yeah. Well, that's the way I always felt too, until I was released and I sat at home going, "Man, all those awesome memories, and I have nothing to show for it."
yeah,
So when I went back, first thing I did was go, "Hey, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture." I got an awesome picture with it was at NXT, and it was probably 6 or 7. It was right after NXT opened up, and it's me and Hunter and Ric Flair all together. And dude, I wouldn't take anything for that picture. I mean, we were all laughing and talking and having a good time, and I said, "Hey, y'all mind if I take a picture?" And they went, "No, go ahead." And I took the picture, and they each said, "Hey, can you send that to me?" And I thought, wow, that's cool, man. I'm
yeah,
happy to be a part of something like that. So, Big Mike, take the picture.
I know. I,
Take
I
it.
I have a picture of me and you. Taylor took it the first time we met when we were talking like our backs were turned and we were talking, and she took the picture.
Oh, bless her heart, man. Is she going
Yeah,
to be in Thomaston?
I don't think so.
Oh, what happened to Taylor?
I don't know.
For those of you listening or watching, Taylor was our photographer for Main Event Wrestling, and um, and a good photographer, very good, and
And
I
one
don't
of
know,
my closest friends.
and a true sweetheart.
Yeah.
And so I hope she comes back. I hope there's something. I don't know what happened, but if something happened, I hope that can get cleared up and she can come back because she was a
Yeah.
great photographer,
Yep.
and on her way and young, so
Yeah.
she's got a good future ahead of her.
Yep. She was me and her. Well, her and I have been friends. What year is it? 2022. 12, 12
Uh,
years. 12,
wow,
12 years.
wow,
She started dating my best friend in high school. Ended up me and her became friends, and now me and her talk, but me and him don't.
fair enough.
So no, she's cool. She took that picture of us, and I've got a couple pictures, but I just never really. I know. There's some guys who take pictures with everybody. I mean, I get pulled to the side. Let's take a picture, Big Mike, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I do my little thing, but
Well, I mean, you know the difference, dude. You
yeah.
know the difference in people that actually are, just being a mark and no offense to marks,
No, no offense.
but,
I'm a
but
mark, dude. I am a mark,
well,
but
I am too. I mean, look, I love the biz. I want a picture with everybody, and I'm a mark.
I'm
But you know the difference in people that are going, "Hey, come let me take a picture," and people that go, "Hey, I want this for me."
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly,
And
exactly.
so
That's the difference
it is,
between.
and there is a difference, and you feel it.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I know. I was
I'm
sitting
sure.
with
I'm
Mike.
sure I've just pissed off a bunch of people, and I'm sorry.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Listen, they'll get over it. They look.
I hope
Uh,
so.
I got to sit with Mike Jackson and learn how to hustle the gimmick grind.
Oh yeah, Action Mike Jackson. Yeah, hey man, he's a hustler.
Hey,
At the end of the day, he's a hustler.
he looked over at me. He said, "I'm going to show you how to make money at this gimmick table, son."
That's yeah. That's right. He's
He's
the merch maniac. That's
that
him.
man. That man was making some money. I was like, "You got it going, boy."
Yeah,
He's a good dude, man. And we were
yeah. He
there.
is.
We
He's
were
a
there.
lot of fun.
We were promoting the Lost Territories,
Yep.
which that November 1st, the IWN app, that show goes live with episode 1 with Chick
So
Donovan.
yeah, again, the IWN app. I mean, it's not just wrestling. There are some really cool shows on there,
Yeah,
and that the Lost Territories, that show, you're not going to see it on anywhere except the IWN app.
yeah.
And tell them a little bit about that show, Mike.
Man, so it was kind of something that I kind of came up with in my head a little bit, and I pitched to the team over at IWN. I said, there's nowhere really that's talking about Continental. There's nowhere that's talking about Southeastern. They're not talking about that territory specifically. You've got shows that talk about some of them. You got people that talk about, AWA and Mid South, but honestly, Southeastern Continental was the lost territories. There's it's hard to find the tapes of it, and
It is.
luckily I found some. So what we're doing is we are taking guys like Chick Donovan who are coming on to the show and sitting down with the host Mike Jackson, and they're talking about the stories from Continental. They're talking about stories from Southeastern. We're bringing matches that we're putting on the TV. We're putting them on the app. I have found Scott. You're coming on this Friday to
I'm looking
do
for it. Yeah, I'm
your
looking forward.
episodes,
I'm looking forward
and
to it.
I have found footage. I cannot wait. I found the footage from when your dad made his heel turn in that match with Ric Flair and Rod
Yeah,
Fuller. I found that footage. So we're going to get to watch it, and it's going to be
awesome.
awesome. I love this for me because I get to watch all of this for the first time. And then I'm seeing it fresh eyes going, holy crap, now what do we need to do to put it out there for people to see? And I'm hoping more people who are like me, who love wrestling, but never got to watch Continental, they never got to watch Southeastern or even Mid South, can come and see what we fell in love with as a kid was built on.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a lot of fun for me to be able to come and relive all those TVs and the storylines and the things we did back in the day. And nowadays you have a week to week television show. Back then we did two, but we also were in the same town. Like in Continental, we were in Birmingham, Alabama every Monday night, every
yeah,
Monday. So it wasn't like, now WWE comes into Birmingham once a year. We were there every Monday night.
yeah,
And so you had to keep people interested to make a living. You know what I mean? To get a paycheck. And so,
And you guys are packing out the Battle Auditorium,
oh yes,
dude.
the
Insane.
storyline. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, and the reaction, the fan reactions. Oh my gosh, I I got to tell you this story. So there's a match, and it's on YouTube somewhere, and it's myself and my dad and my brother Steve versus Lord Jonathan Boyd, Tom Pritchard, and Mike Golden. And uh, I truly do not remember the lead up to this match. I just know that my father and my brother Steve and myself all came out in camouflage, and there had to be a storyline that led to that because we wouldn't just wear camo and come to the ring because that wasn't our wrestling gear. But um, I remember the crowd reaction just being crazy as we came to the ring and then the match. And I remember showing that somebody had sent it to me when I was a referee with WWE, and I was in the locker room, and all of a sudden I get sent that, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I have the sound up so you can hear the people screaming. And I remember John Cena going, "What are you watching?" And I said, "Believe it or not, dude, it's a match of me in the early to mid 80s in Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham, Alabama." And he said, "Well, can I see it?" And I said, "Yeah." And he watched it and he went, "Wow, man, listen to the people." And then he went, "Oh my gosh, look at the people." And it's on YouTube, so anybody can pull it up and watch it. And you just see people from the third, you know how first row usually doesn't move much. Second row starts getting into it. Third row will move. And third row back people were jumping up out of their seats and wow, and doing their arms in the air. And you just go, man, that's fun. That's fun to relive. You know what I mean? For me personally. And especially with my dad who's gone now, and to be able to relive those memories and see that, and to hear somebody that you know, when John Cena says something about your work, he was at the pinnacle at that time. So when he says something, it makes you feel good about your work. You know what I mean? And so you know, I'm glad to be able to be a part of the Lost Territories TV show that's going to be on the IWN app, and I hope people will download the app and enjoy hearing myself and Action Mike Jackson talk about it because you know, I told you earlier, don't show me those matches. The matches you're going to put on this TV show, do not show them to me. Do not tell me about them. I want to be able to relive them, um, you know, live on air. And
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. I'm looking forward to coming, and I know we're going to film a series of those shows, and I look forward to being a part of it.
Yeah, I am. I have really gotten excited about this show. We finished episodes 1 and 2, the post production, and it's not like you're not gonna see. It's not gonna be something like you'd see on Vice TV where it's just crazy production and you've got the dramatization with actors who are pretending to be the
Hey,
wrestler.
so I got to ask you, is dramatization, is that a word?
I think it is, but I'm not really sure.
If it's not, it's awesome. I love it. I love
You know,
it.
and don't get me wrong, I love watching that stuff on Vice. You know, I
Yeah,
love watching it,
me
but
too.
what I wanted this to
Except
be.
except when they use me as a character and don't use me. They use some other guy and it's shadowed and yeah.
That's
But
what I'm
anyway,
talking about.
I think we both know what we're
That's
talking
dramatization. That's
about. I, I love it, dude.
that's
That's awesome.
that's what I'm talking about.
Uh,
But I wanted this to be really simple. I wanted to be
Code Armstrong for dramatization. Oh, I
whew,
love this business, man. God is the best.
that was funny. That was good.
Yeah,
But
oh God. I'm sorry to the listener and viewer. We have just wasted a minute and a half of your life.
Oh, that was funny. But
uh,
I wanted the Lost Territories to be simple. I wanted it to be Mike
yes,
and
I,
whoever's sitting with him,
I,
just
I agree.
talking, reminiscing stories, talking about people because you know
Yes.
there's gonna be people that get brought up that it's like, oh my goodness, I want to say in one of the episodes they talked about Mike Golden, and if I'm not mistaken, was Mike Golden at Superstars Fan Fest?
No, I didn't see him. If he was, I would have. I would be upset to find out now that he was there. Pardon me.
Yeah, that
Excuse
kind
me.
of came out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm human. Um, I would be
That's
very
right.
upset if Mike Golden was there and I didn't get to say hello and hug his neck because,
Okay,
look,
maybe I'm wrong.
we shared the trenches, man. We did,
Yeah,
and so I would be upset that I didn't get to say hello. I really would. Look, there was a lot of people.
yeah,
Steiner was there. Scott Steiner was there. I didn't get to say Jake the Snake, Buff Bagwell. There were a lot of guys there that I didn't get to say hello to because they were on the complete opposite
yeah,
side of the
yeah,
building. And for me, I was staying to actually be a referee on the show that night. They had a show that night. And so I was actually staying to be a referee. And a lot of those guys were
they
there
bolted.
just for they were there just for the fan fest. So
Yeah,
as soon as the gig was over, they left and I stayed. And
yeah,
so I didn't get to see her and talk to a lot of them. And I'm sorry I didn't. I got to see Sabu, and I, man, shared a lot of time with him, and there were a couple of guys I did get to see, but a lot of guys I didn't get to see, and
yeah,
I hate that. I really do.
yeah. I did get to see my buddy Jason with Atomic Drop Comics, and I was
Yep.
super excited about
Yeah,
that.
I was able to meet him. That was
Yeah,
cool. Very cool. And he hooked me up with a couple of comics. I appreciate that, Jason.
yeah. And we've got something we're working on. Kind of, we're putting some pieces together. I'm actually going to talk to you about off air. We're really excited about, man.
And how
Um,
much and how much do I make off that?
we'll talk about that too. Hey, we're all about that
Yes.
money, man.
It's
Look,
all about the money, brother.
that's right. Look, I am all about it. Let me tell you.
Uh,
But no, I had a lot of fun, man. It was cool to see some people that I've never met, like Virgil. This was the first time I got to meet Virgil,
oh,
and
okay.
I was like, that guy's out there.
Yeah.
He just
Look,
started talking, and I was like, okay, 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 yeah, yeah,
yeah, I've known Virgil a long time, and since he was with Ted DiBiase,
yeah,
and he's a lot of fun, dude. He
yeah.
is. He's
He
a
was
lot of.
cool. I liked him. Robert Gibson ribbed me a little bit,
Yep.
but
There you go. he
he
Pensacola boy.
he
Him and
told a
his
story
brother.
that popped us. You know, it made all of us laugh.
Yep.
It was funny. But good guy. Got to talk to Teddy a little bit. You know, Teddy unblocked me finally. Uh,
I love Teddy Long. He's the
hey,
best, man.
man,
Him and Mac have their podcast. What's the name of their podcast?
it's 30 minutes, 30-minute time limit after hours. I think is the name of it. It's a
Is
long
their
name for a podcast.
is their podcast only 30 minutes?
Yep,
Oh
they keep it at
wow.
30 minutes. Yeah,
All
they're
right. And so look, I gotta fix that
they got to make it a little bit longer. Look,
then. Yeah. They gotta go longer or we gotta go shorter.
yeah,
Uh,
they gave us a shout on one of their last episodes. They do a similar thing. You know, I think I started me and you we started the trend of ask Scott. Everybody's doing it. Ask Dog. Ask Teddy. Everybody copied us. I know.
sure. Hey man.
Hey,
Better to
when you're
be
winners,
better to be imitated. That's
that's
right.
right. So they did that. So I kind of I did I did a question. I sent it in to Mac to ask Teddy. It was I asked Teddy. You know, did he know that his superstar initiative that he brought a lot of wrestlers up? Did he know that the guys that he was bringing like MVP and Kofi Kingston were going to end up being the superstars that they became?
Right.
And and he came out. He said, hold on. Are you talking about Big Mike? Is that Big Mike with Scott Armstrong's podcast, Armstrong Avenue? And Max said, yeah. He goes, Big Mike called me when I was blocking all them folks, and then folks did that to my Twitter and said, hey, Teddy, I got a phone call from the Atlanta Falcons. They want to know if you can come block for them.
I
So he blocked me.
love it. I
And it
love
was
it.
funny. They gave us a good shout out, man. I love those guys. They're good people.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And
I remember having a few minutes to be able to, and I had my wife with me at the Superstar Fan
yeah,
Fest, and she was able to see Teddy and Enzo and Mac, and we just had a good time because we've been married 35 years. She's met a lot of the guys in the business, and
yeah,
so for her to be able to see them again in our the twilight of my career has been a lot of fun, and not, I mean, always fun for me, but really fun for her too.
yeah.
She said, "Oh my gosh," when I said, "Hey girl, you remember Enzo?" And she went, "Oh my gosh, we we saw him when we were in Vegas. We did we took a vacation one time, and we went to Vegas, and so of course I used my Marriott points to stay. We did the whole night. I used my
Heck
Sky
yeah.
Miles to fly. I mean, we tried to do it as cheap as possible.
I
And
know
we
that's
get
right.
there, and Mojo Raleigh, God bless his heart, man. He's been in the wrestling business a minute or two, and he texted me and said, "Hey, man, you want to see a real pool party? Go to Hard Rock and see a real pool party." And so Steve K, who ended up being a real good friend of mine, um, hooked my wife and I up. And while we were there, who shows up? Mojo. And I mean, no, I'm sorry, Enzo. And so and Mojo calls me and says, "Hey, man, what do you think of this place?" Oh my God, dude, it was a pool party that I wish I could have gone to in my 20s. It was crazy. And but we had a real good time, and Enzo was there, and we got to, and she said, "We haven't seen him since then." Look, I'm old. I forgot all about it. She remembered all of it. So she was able to see him and meet Virgil and meet you for the first
I
time.
know, man.
I know you've seen her on the podcast,
Yeah, when she
but she was very impressed that you said, "Oh yeah, he's wearing Sauvage," because I had that cologne on Sauvage, and she said, "Oh, he knew you were wearing Sauvage." She, like I said, she's in retail and she sells Sauvage, so
I,
it meant
you know
something to her.
the only reason I knew that, the only reason is because at our July 23rd show, whenever we got there in the locker room, you handed me and you handed your brother Brian uh, the little the sampler packs that I guess
The
you got from her of
the
it.
tester, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I took it
yes.
home and I was like, and I love cologne. I wear cologne all the time. I'm a large man, and most large men they tend to stink. Not me, you know. I keep a well
Yeah.
groomed beard. I put stuff in my beard so it smells good. I put cologne on. So I wore that and I got about 3 days out of that little tester and it smelled so good. I told my
Yes.
wife, I showed it to her. I said, "This is what I want for Christmas. I want this."
Yeah,
And,
it's the good stuff. It
and
is
she,
the Sauvage sold at Dillard's. It is good. It is. I promise you.
so if you're listening, Dior, I think is who the brand is.
Yes,
We would
that's
be
right.
great sponsor for this would be a great sponsorship
Yes,
opportunity.
we would love to have you as a sponsor.
That's funny. She
Dior would be awesome.
Yeah, I said that, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, he is wearing that, isn't he?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I
Yes,
know
I
my."
was.
Uh,
Yes,
uh,
I was. Uh,
but yeah,
hey,
that was a fun day, man. It was great. It was great to meet people. It was good for
yes,
you, and I know I got to promote our podcast really really hard out there,
yeah,
and got a lot of good people there.
yeah,
But
a
man,
lot.
you have been staying busy yourself.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've got a lot of bookings coming up too. On the look, that I've always said, indies are the salt of the earth,
Yeah,
and so for, um, and I mean, you never know who is watching your work. So when it comes to the indies, you never know who's watching. I mean, now my brother Road Dog not only also has a podcast, but he's back to work for the Giant W, at WWE, and so um, we text all the time and talk and everything else that brothers do, and so. Like I was on that show that night, and the next day talked to my brother because we went to the fair, and And I texted him pictures from the fair and said, "Have y'all gone to the fair yet?" Just common text. And he said, "Yeah, you've been working." I said, "Yeah, I did an indie show last night." And I told him about a guy that I saw that was really good. And so when you're on the indies, you never know who's watching your match or who you run into. If there's anybody listening to this or watching this that is a wrestler and works the independent circuit, or wants to get started the independent circuit, and you think there's no hope, well, you're wrong. You never know who is watching your work. And I'll give you a better example of that. This week, Sean Bennett, uh, I get a gift from him at my front door. I pull up and I see a package at my front door, and I open it, and I'm thinking, who sent me this? I don't have any idea. Now, Sean Bennett is a referee slash major player with WWE. I mean, I saw him this week on Monday Night Raw as a referee. And so, and he's he's on there every week. He's not just a guy that fills in, he's a guy. And so he's in. And so I get this gift and I open it up. I have no idea who it is and who it's from. And I call my son and I say, "Hey, dude, did you send me this?" And he goes, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." Once I open the gift, I see the note underneath it, and it's from Sean Bennett. And he says in the note, "Scotty, 10 years ago, you DM'd me on Twitter and asked me what my intentions were in the wrestling business. And that DM changed my life, because then you got me hired by WWE." Well, Big Mike, at that time, I might have known a guy that knew a guy. You know what I mean? And somebody on Twitter, at that time I was a producer for WWE, and somebody sent me a match on Twitter and said, "Mr. Armstrong, would you please watch this match?" And so I just happened to be getting on an airplane at that moment in time, and I'm standing in line, and you don't want to just stand there. So I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking, and it's Twitter. And this wrestler is saying, "Could you please watch my match?" And so as I'm standing in line, I thought, well, I'm about to get on the plane. When I sit down, I will watch the match. I sit down, put my headphones on, and start watching the match. And what I end up watching is the referee of the match. And he was really good. And his timing was good. His count, his cadence of the count was really good. He stayed out of the way. He seemed to understand that the wrestlers were the stars, not him. And, in some organizations, some referees don't feel that way, even today. And so, I see all that, and I tweeted the wrestler back and said, "Hey, who is the referee?" And he said, "Sean Bennett. Would you like for me to get in touch with him for you?" And I said, "Yes, please ask him to follow me, and I will direct message him." And he said, "Okay." And so I direct messaged Sean Bennett, and I asked him, I said, "What is your intentions for the wrestling business? Is this something you want to do for the rest of your life? Or is it just something you're having fun with on the indies?" And he said, "No, I would love to pursue it." And I said, "Okay." Well, that's all he had to say. And I got in touch with my boss, who got in touch with his boss. Next thing you know, Sean Bennett gets a tryout. He knocks it out of the park, and he gets hired by WWE. And 10 years later, I get this gift on my front porch, which was yesterday. And it said, "Thank you for everything. 10 years ago, this week, on my birthday, you sent me a DM." And I just thought, man, I almost cried, because he said, "You changed my life." And you don't realize, it goes back to what I started this with, Mike. You don't realize who's watching your match.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. So if you're pursuing the wrestling industry for something you want to do for the rest of your life, pursue it with all your might. Did Sean Bennett at that time know that somebody in WWE would be watching his match? No, he had no clue. But at the moment in time, was he doing 100% the best he could do? Yes, he was. And look, that's in life, not just the wrestling business. In life, give it 100%. Do the best you can do. Don't mow the yard and mow half the yard. Mow all the yard. Do the best you can. Make the yard look good. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Oh, I got it. As a referee, you may go, oh, I got 4 matches tonight, and you kind of phone in a couple of them. Don't phone them in, man. Give it the best you got. Give it 100%. And it's that way in life too. Give it 100%. Try as hard as you can every time. Somebody's watching, I promise you. And it might not be an old wrestler, but it might be somebody else that goes, hey, that guy's, you can tell his heart's in it, so let's give him a chance. And so I hope and pray that, Sean Bennett, for him to send me that, I texted him back, I tweeted him back and said, hey, that is why I love you, dude. He's always been a good human, not just a good human being, but he cares about his job. And so that was really, really cool. I'm so happy that he sent me that and reminded me that it was 10 years ago, because I promise you I didn't remember how long ago it was, and I didn't remember that it was on his birthday. So that was, hey, man, give it 100% every time, whether you're on the indies or whether you're on the big time. You know what I mean? The big screen.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You never know who's going to be watching you. That's correct.
You don't. I'll tell you another look. As long as I'm on referees, I'll tell you another story. Jess on Twitter. I cannot. Maybe you could. Maybe you know it, Mike. I just do not. Lady Ref Jess or something like, or WWE. Anyway, Jess is the first female referee from WWE ever hired full time, not used for a minute or two, but full time. And so, this week, look, I'm a crock pot guy. Anybody that knows me knows that I love to cook and I love to eat. And so, I tweeted her and said I was using my crock pot vegetable soup, and Jess is she is not a fan of crock pots. She does not trust them. She thinks they're going to catch on fire, burn the house down. And I'm just the opposite. She and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I love crock pots, and I'll leave it running and go to the grocery store and not think twice about it. And so my grandmother, God rest her soul, she would, my brothers and I, we after my grandfather died, this is on my mom's side, she would cook no matter what, a huge breakfast. One time Brad took like Kevin Sullivan and Road Warrior Hawk, and there were like 8 wrestlers, and he just called, said, hey, we're on our way to your house. Can you cook us breakfast? And that's who she was. She loved to cook. And so if we called and said, hey, we're coming do you have anything to eat? She'd say, yeah. And she'd just get like a pound of sliced ham, but she would, her vegetable soup, she called it her last minute vegetable soup. It was literally V8 juice and like 5 cans of vegetables. It would be green beans, diced potatoes, diced tomatoes, carrots, English peas. And she just dump it all in there with the V8 juice and boil it. And we would get there. Oh my God, man. It was like the best. And so as I got older, my mom would do that. If I called my mom and say, Mom, we're going to come over. You got anything to eat? She'd go, yeah, I'll make some soup. And so it was the same thing. So then as I got older, I'd do the same thing if I thought, oh yeah, let's just eat. And literally, I'm telling you, Mike, it's V8 juice, and then you pour all the liquid out of all the canned veggies and just dump it all in there and let it cook for 4 or 5 hours. Oh my God! To this day, I love it. And so then, like my daughter, the other day I went to the store and I was buying all the Gaga for that soup, and I just bought it times two, and I put the second version of it all in a bag, the V8 juice and about 5 cans of veggies, and I just went and dropped it on my daughter's front door, and I left, and I said, "Hey, go look outside on your front porch." We called our grandmother Mana. Mona is how we spelled it, Mana. And I said, not Mona, Mana. And I said, go look on your front porch. There's a whole kit for Mana soup. And she called me back and said, "Oh my God, Dad, thank you so much. I'm making it tonight." And so, today I made it for my family, for me and my wife. And I literally sent a picture, a little tiny video to Jess and said, "Thinking of you as I make my vegetable soup." She is not a crock pot person. So I made it and sent it to her. And I knew she would get it, you know what I mean? Because we've had that conversation
Yeah.
multiple times. But needless to say, it's awesome. I love it. I shut my eyes. It's like sitting at my grandmother's table. It's the quickie. So, not look, some grandmothers make vegetable soup and it's a big drawn out process. This is a hit it and get it vegetable soup. So
Yeah.
anybody out there listening, enjoy.
That's right. That's right. And it's WWE Lady Ref Jess on Twitter.
There you go.
So
She's a sweetheart. She used to come as an extra talent to be a wrestler, and her attitude second to none. Great attitude. Um, Wanted to be a wrestler and ended up being a ref, and she's good at it. And there you go. She's got a career. So really cool to see her and Aja at Daphne LaShawn, I think is her
yeah,
Twitter. And it's cool to see both of them. It's females getting the chance in a male dominated industry, and it's really cool to see them
yeah,
go forward and prosper. You know what I mean? Really, really cool.
yeah, for sure. That it is. That it is. Now we're getting towards the end of this episode. I think I got time for one quick hashtag Ask Scott segment. And this comes from Aaron Gartland from Dothan, Alabama. He texted it to me. He said, "Mike, I do not have the Twitter, so I can't do it. But can I do it through text?" I said, "Okay, that's fine." He said, "Please share your memories of working with the Nightmares at the farm center."
Oh wow. Um, so look, the Nightmares were a mask. They both wore masks. They were a tag team. They came from the Memphis area. Uh, they were not big guys, but they were great inside the ring. And so it was Danny Davis and Ken Wayne. That was their real names, or the real names that I knew. And they were about the same size, so they could do the switch. As tag teams, they were heels, and so they could do the switch in and out. If the referee turned his back, they could switch in and out, and the fans would see it. But if the referee didn't see it, he'd turn around. They looked to be the same size, and they both wore the same mask and the same outfits. And um, so with that being said, working against brothers or a father and son, man, we would have matches that just tore the house down. I mean, literally, just people at the Houston County Farm Center in Dothan, Alabama, just going nuts because they would do an illegal switch and people would go crazy. And they were fantastic in the ring. They were both um, man, they could go, they could wrestle, and they were great at the old Southern tag team spots. And people that don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. They were, it's worth looking up. The Nightmares was their tag team name, and they were great. And look, later on in life, Danny Davis got into powerlifting and weightlifting, and once his body started changing, you could tell the difference. And the gimmick, the tag gimmick, it didn't work anymore. But Danny, I think he still may still have something to do with OVW. I'm not sure of that, so I don't want anybody to put that in gold. I think Al Snow has a lot to do with it. He may have bought that from Danny Davis. I just don't know the details, so I don't want to overspeak. But a great tag team, without a doubt, without a doubt. Made a heck of an impact here in the Pensacola area and Continental back in the DSA, as they say. Do we have time for one more?
Oh, we might. We could very well have time for another question. Um, so let's hit it with let's see here. What are your memories of working with Charlie Platt, Rick Stewart, and other Southeastern Championship Wrestling commentators from the WTVY studio?
Wow, that's a reach way back. It is, man. Look, Rick Stewart and Charlie Platt. That was early, like that was still Southeastern days. They were, look, great human beings. Rick Stewart, God rest his soul, lived here in Pensacola, and I knew him personally. When he passed, it was a shot in the heart because I was tight with him. Uh, Charlie Platt was around for a long time. He still, I mean, he spoke at my dad's funeral, and so he and my dad were really good friends. And he was a great announcer. They did the storyline where my dad slapped him, and man, the I think it was the most at the time. I think they said it was the most mail. This is back in the day, so it wasn't, you didn't get emails, you got actual mail. It was the most mail that Channel 4 in Dothan, Alabama had ever received over anything ever. And yeah, my dad did the heel turn and he slapped Charlie Platt. And that was, you didn't slap Charlie Platt. He was a Dothan, Alabama staple. And you did not disrespect him. And when my dad turned, oh my God, the people hated his guts. It's funny, he had such heat at the time. He would drive our crappiest car at the time. That's what he would drive to the town because people would key the car and hit it and try to throw trash on it and spit on the windshield. And he wouldn't take it. I think he had two cars at the time, and he would take the crappiest car every time because he knew what was going to happen. And he always had a good spare in the back because he never knew if somebody was going to cut the tire or, back in the day, it wasn't like now where people already know that it's predetermined or anything like that. Back in the day, they still believed in it. And, some people still to this day go, well, it's still real to me, but back then it really was. And,
Yeah.
and you were in, salt of the earth, Alabama. And so, people would, hey, look, that car took a lot of keys. There was a lot of keys put to that car. People hated, Bullet Bob and Bullet Bob's love interest, Fannie Mae Titweiler. that was what her name was, and she was totally fiction. He made her up, and people hated her guts, and they hated somebody that wasn't real. And that was a running rib in our family that Fannie Mae Titweiler, he made her up, and people hated her guts, and she never existed. So hats off to my dad for thinking that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
It's
sure,
crazy.
for sure. Those were
Uh,
two really good questions, man, to end the show.
yeah,
Two
yeah,
really good
yeah.
ones.
Thank you.
Um,
Anybody that has one, please, questions, comments, suggestions. We are
yep.
open to all of it. So please don't hesitate.
Yep, for sure, for sure. If you have any and you just want to DM me, do like some of them have and send it to me on Facebook. I guess people found me. I don't know how, but
Hey,
no,
Big
actually,
Mike.
I do know how because a lot of our fans are in the Facebook groups that I promote our show in. So
Oh, there you go.
that's how they found me, which I'm cool with it. I'm very like anybody can message me. I'm very open about anything. So I'm cool with that. But you guys can follow us. He's WWE Armstrong on Twitter. I'm Big Mike, the host. This is the Armstrong Avenue podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Always like, subscribe, download that IWN app so you can watch us. It's the only place to watch us. We're going to get out of here.
Big Mike. Thank you, brother.